Hi everybody. Hello. Welcome to my live. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to give everyone a couple minutes just to hop on, and I want to make sure that I come up on Facebook and I see myself, so that looks good. Okay. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. I did not do a live last week. I had house guests from Chicago, so it was my daughter Nicole and my granddaughter Emmeline, who's 14 months. So we had a fabulous time. It was super nice seeing them. I was so glad they came, and we really had a lot of fun. It is still hot in Texas, as I think it is in a lot of the country right now. We just can't seem to break out of the hundreds, but it's okay. We're surviving, and happy first day of summer. So excited that it's summer, my favorite time of year. Tonight we're going to do some summery cards with the Sweet Cherries bundle, and that's my favorite summer fruit. And I think the cards are really cute. I hope you like them. So again, thanks for joining me. If you're joining me live on the replay on Facebook or on YouTube, thank you very much. I'm going to turn everything down and get started. Oh, before I do that, I just want to mention one more thing, that Stampin' Up! Has a sale going on today only, one day only, where they're doing free shipping. So that's a significant savings. So I know I'm definitely going to place an order when I get done with my live, because free shipping, that's like an extra, what, 11% off or something. It's really a nice deal. So I definitely want to place another order today, especially because we've got some retiring things going on in our mini catalog that's going to retire at the end of June. So some of the things in the catalog are already 30 to 50% off. And if you get a demonstrator discount, then you get that off too, and then free shipping. So that's really quite the bargain. All right, let me turn my camera down and we will get started. Okay, I think we are good. All right, so just to let you know, the other catalog is retiring at the end of June, but July 1st, we're going to be starting the new mini catalog, which has a lot of fun fall, Halloween, Christmas things in it, and celebration for 2 months, where you can earn free things just by ordering, purchasing $50 to $100 purchase, you get free items. Can't show you what's in the catalog yet, but this starts July 1st, so that's going to be really fun. I'll be bringing you some projects from that catalog. So for tonight's projects, I'm using a set out of the annual catalog, and this is the Sweet Cherries bundle. And this is nice. It doesn't have a die cut. Instead, it has a punch. This is the really awesome punch that we'll be using to cut out our cherries this evening, and a really fun stamp set. You can see a couple of the samples that they have here. Let me show you the cards we're going to make tonight. We're going to do a cute little cherry birthday card. Then we've got this little thank you for being so sweet card. You could give that to someone for anything. A nice little thank you cherry card. And then this fun little treat bag with some gummy cherries in it. So let us get started. Let me put my projects aside. Okay, here is that stamp bundle that I was talking to you about. A lot of really cute sentiments you can combine with the sweet birthday wishes. Thank you for being so sweet. Just life is sweet with you in it. Just all kinds of combinations. Plus it's got the cherries, the stems, the leaf, and a little basket weave. So that's really fun. We're going to use most of the stamps from this set tonight to make things. Okay, in addition, for our first card, and you don't have to use these things, but I did use some of the dies, so I just want to tell you which ones I used. This is Fabulous Frames dies, and I used this middle frame right here, and I'll show you that in a minute. I also really love this little scalloped border. I think that adds a lot. You don't have to use a scalloped border. You know, use what you have. We always say maybe you have a different scalloped border. Maybe you just want to do a plain border. That's okay too. And then I used one of the tag dies for this card, and this is from the Stylish Shapes dies, and it's cute because it's a little banner and it's got the stitching around it. But you could just cut your own banner. That's really easy to do. Again, use what you have. So let's get out the pieces for our first card. All right, so we're gonna start with a Sweet Sorbet card base. This is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. I cut just a plain white for the inside. This is your basic white cardstock at 5 1/4 by 4, and we'll decorate that a little bit when I'm gonna leave that out for when we do our stamping. Okay. Then we've got our other little pieces cut out, a little bit of twine, and the first thing we'll do is just start with all of our stamping. Okay, so we're gonna start by stamping the cherries and the stems and the leaves. And a little trick for that is I just took my cherry punch and I cut it out a little square of the just basic black cardstock, right? And I'm just gonna put that on here. I'm gonna probably need another scrap of basic white too, because that way I can punch everything out at the same time. So I'm just gonna secure that with just a tiny bit of Post-it tape. You can use washi tape, just something that's not super sticky, right? Okay, and I'm gonna get my Sweet Sorbet ink pad, and I'm gonna stamp my cherry. Now I'm gonna stamp two different cherries. First I'm gonna stamp this one, and I'm just going to go right in the middle of my black cardstock, and it's just kind of a template that I've made for myself. So I've used that one, and then I'm going to do the inside of the card with the cherry also. So I'm just going to stamp that right here, and then we're going to need one more cherry. So I'm going to just take another little scrap of basic white paper, and we'll stamp one more cherry, and this one I'm going to do the one with the bite out of it. So we'll stamp just like that. Okay, now let's get out our Granny Apple Green stamp pad, and we'll do the leaves and the stems. So I'm going to do the stem, and again I'm going to go right in the black. Hopefully I'm doing that straight so it will cut straight. And we'll take a little leaf, and I'm going to stamp that one right in there. Whoa, that didn't stamp too well. Let me try that again. Okay. And then one more on the other side. I'm just flipping it over. And for some reason I'm missing that little piece. Okay. The other fun thing is they have the little veins of the leaves on a stamp, and I'm just going to stamp those in the same color, so it's going to be super, super subtle when I do it. I'm going to go this way, and I'm going just off a little bit on the black. So again, because I'm using the same color, it's going to be subtle. I could use a darker color if I really wanted it to show up, but I think we're good. So let's punch out our cherries. Put that aside for later. It looks like I caught part of the little black template from my cherry, so I may punch that one again. Let's see if this works. And I'm just lining it up, and it looks like it might just be a little bit. Okay. There we go. So we have our leaves, our stems, and it ended up being just a little bit off. So I'm going to actually punch this cherry, and then we're just going to cut that other little piece off where the bite is. See how that's white? We're just going to cut that off. And then I'm going to stamp one more cherry because I don't like the way how that first one came out. And you don't have to use a template. You can just stamp and punch them out just by themselves. And we're going to be punching a bunch of cherries tonight for all of our cards. I think this one's going to look a little bit better. And it's still going to have that nice white border around it. I think this one's better, so we'll keep that one. I also, since I have my inside of the card, wanted to stamp, while I have my Granny Green available, I'm just going to do a little stem for that one as well, just right on the piece of basic white paper like that. And we'll do one leaf almost to the top of that one, just right there for the inside. Okay, the inside is finished. And then let us stamp our sentiment. Now we're going to use birthday wishes. Sorry, I'm kind of going back and forth here with my stamp pads. So I have my birthday wishes stamp. And let's see if I can get this one right in the middle. So my stamping's been a little off tonight, but that's okay. Usually I like to stamp this on the cardstock and then cut it out because then you can see where it's at. But I think that came out pretty good. Now we're ready to do some assembly. So going back to the card base, I have a piece of designer series paper, and this is the paper in colors, and there's 4 different patterns in each in color. So it's really fun because you can use it to just stay in the same color family and just add some decoration to all of your cards. So I have this piece of DSP, and this is 4.5 by 3 inches. So let's take some seal and adhere that right down the middle of our card. And it looks like it's just a tad long. It looks nice and straight at the top, but just a little long on the bottom. So I'm just going to take my scissors and just trim that off. No problem there. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Hold on. I forgot to put my border on. So I'm going to just peel this off nice and slowly so I don't rip it. And then I'm going to add my border to the edges before I put it down. So let me just run some seal across the edges. And just leave a little bit of that stitched border right there. Okay, that's better. You can see I didn't cut this super straight when I die cut it, but it doesn't matter because you're not going to see it. As long as the part on the front is straight, that's all that really matters. So again, I'm just going to leave a little bit so you can see the stitched part, and that looks good. Again, trim off the edge if it hangs a little bit over so it's nice and even. Then I'm going to add a little bit more adhesive and then put it down like I was supposed to on the card. Okay, great. All right, now that die I showed you before, that little picture frame die, I cut 1 piece out of the Sweet Sorbet and 1 piece out of the white. And then I have the other sides that I will save for another card. You can see how these punched out like that. So I'll save this part for another card for the future. And then I'm just going to glue these down. So I will start with a little bit of scrap paper. And I'm going to fold this over because you can see I've got a lot of glue on that side already. And I'm going to take my glue pen to adhere this. Now you could use any kind of glue really to adhere this down. I like this because it's super fast and easy, and I can kind of get into the skinny areas with it. And then I'm going to put that right in the middle, but near the top. So right about here. Make sure that's straight and press it down for a minute. I'll use seal to do the white part. I'll put that right in the middle like that. Now we're ready to start putting our cherries on. So the first one, I'm going to use a little bit of seal to adhere it. And I'll put that one right about here. The other one I'm going to pop up with dimensionals. So it's just a little bit above the other one. Oh, I didn't cut it either yet. Let's cut our little piece of bite out. Cute, right? All right, let me add another dimensional for good measure. And we'll put that one right like that. And then I am going to be 1 stem short. So I'm going to need 1 more stem. But it's easy to do, right? So let me put this one this way. And we're going to have the 2 stems meet in the middle. So let me just quickly do another stem and get a little scrap of paper. with the punch, it's quick and easy to do this. It only takes a second to do this. And I'm going to cut the bottom off like this. And just put this in my punch and center it up. Okay, there's our other stem. All right, a little more glue. Now our cherries popped up, so this is going to be a little popped up on top and then meat over here. Okay, now we're going to pop up our little leaves, and because I kind of messed this up a little, I'm just going to trim a little bit of the white border to fix it so it still looks good, and get a couple of dimensionals. I'm going to try and move my hands up a little bit more because I feel like I'm going off the screen a little bit. So we'll put one leaf there, the other leaf coming off like that. We're going to take a little bit of twine. So this is the in color twine, and it comes in the 5 different colors. And I have the one that this is Parakeet Party, which is kind of a lime green. So I'm just going to tie a bow with that, and it's kind of subtle. It's kind of almost like white and green striped. So I'll just cut the ends off of that, and we'll use a glue dot to put that down on the card. And we'll put that right where the leaves meet. Cute little bow. Let's pop up our birthday wishes at the bottom. With some dimensionals. Whoopsie, I almost put that in upside down. And then what we're going to do is add some iridescent rhinestone basic jewels, and this is really fun. These are really, really pretty. They're sparkly. Let me get my take your pick tool. And they have that iridescent sheen, which is almost kind of rainbowy, really pretty. So we'll just take some different size gems. Let me pull this medium one up. Hold on. Let me fix my tool here. Super sticky. And a little one. And then we'll do another little one up here. Okay, let's just place our inside now. And we just have our little cherry that we put on the inside. So we'll just put that down with some seal. Okay, and that's it. Our birthday card is finished. Fun, right? Look very summery. Cute little birthday card. All right, that is card 1. I'm gonna clean up for a second because I kind of put my things all over the place. Let me put everything aside and we'll get started on our next card. Okay, so the next one we're gonna do is this one, and this one is a really fun card too. And this one was inspired by one of my uplines, Erica Serwin, and she does the cutest cards. And what inspired me on this one was the background. So it's almost like making your own designer series paper, because we're just gonna be stamping the cherries. On the card she did, let me see if I have it too. This is the card that she did that I kind of based my card off of. You can see she's got some vellum and how she stamped it. And she also stamped with the hearts in between, which is just really sweet and really cute. Okay, so how we're gonna do this one, and just to add a little bit, I also used these scallop dies on this card just to cut out these white pieces right here. So I used these scalloped contours dies, which you guys know I use these all the time. I use those a lot. So let's get out our pieces. A lot of pieces to this one because we're going to do several layers. So let me put some of these aside. All right, so let me start with the card base. And again, we're using the Sweet Sorbet. It's 8.5 by 5.5. And as you know, we normally score at 4 1/4, which we did, but then we also scored at 2 1/8. and we folded it this way, so it's almost like accordion style fold. So that's how we're going to start with our card base. The next thing I want to do is get the stamping going. So this white piece is 5 3/8 by, hold on, that's the black cardstock. This is 8 inches by 5 1/4 of the basic white. And we're going to cut this after we stamp it. So I wanted to stamp the whole piece first, so then when we cut it, as you can see, it kind of like flows and lines up, right? So we'll stamp everything first, and then we'll cut our pieces down from this sheet. I'm going to put a little bit of a scrap underneath because I'm going to be stamping off the edges of this. All right, so I'm just going to take my cherry stamp, and I'm going to start somewhat like right in the middle. Let me make sure it's high enough that you can see. And I'll just start my first cherry here, and then I'm just going to kind of space them out, and then some of them might go off. And this doesn't have to be perfect. It can just be pretty random. Let me get, and we're just going to keep stamping. And so far, I'm not really going off the page too much. But here, I'm going to go off over here. And then I think I'm going to go up a little bit here. And maybe off a little bit on this side. And I think that looks pretty good. We're going to stop right there. All right, the next thing we're going to do is the stem. And then the leaf. And normally with the cherries, we're putting the leaves at the top of the stem like the ground trees. With this, I put the leaves at the bottom of the stem, just because I thought it looked nicer for the stamping part. So let's do our stems next. Every cherry gets a stem. Almost every cherry. Over a little bit now. This is fun, right? You can make your own background paper. And hold on, I feel like I'm getting green where I shouldn't be getting green, because I think I'm putting down, I must have got some on my fingers, but don't worry, we can fix that. Okay, now for the leaves. Hold on a second. Let me get the baby wipe and make sure that my hands are clean. I tend to be really messy with stamps and glue. And some of these are going to be covered up, so it's not going to really matter that much. Okay, so I'll put the leaves kind of more towards the bottom. Angle like that. And I'm going a little bit fast because we're doing this live. I don't want to make you wait and watch. I think that's pretty good. Maybe just the bottom of the leaf here. And I think that looks pretty good. All right. Now we're going to cut it. So let me check our measurements. So we're going to cut at 4 inches, 2 inches, and 1 7/8. So let's see. 1 7/8. I'm going to cut that one. And 2 inches. Hold on, let me check. These should both be the same. 1 7/8. Okay. I'm going to cut another one at 1 7/8. And then this one should be 4 inches. Let's see if it works out. I'm just going to trim just a little bit more off here. And then I think we're good. So we've got our 3 pieces. Now, as you can see, I have a couple, like I said, a couple of the little green marks from where my fingers were. You can just take a little, the sand eraser. And because it's white, I mean, you can just erase those right off, and that won't be a problem. So that's something I can do later. See, that one's gone completely. So sometimes these little things are easy to fix. I won't do them all right now while we're on camera, but that's how you fix that and make it look nice, okay? All right, so now let's take our pieces and start assembling our layers. So I've also cut out black layers that are just slightly bigger for each of these sections. And we're gonna start by putting that down with some seal. So we'll start with this layer. And so this is 5 3/8 of an inch by 4 1/8. And then we're gonna do this one right inside, like that. This one takes just a minute longer because of the layers that we're doing. Okay, and then these are 2 inches by the 5 3/8. So both of these are 2 inches. And we'll just put these right centered in the middle of that and line up the top and the bottom for all going across. All right, can you see, am I up far enough on the screen? And this one's gonna go next because you can see how it kind of puzzles together like that. So let me put this one on next. Right in the center. And then our last one's gonna go right in the center, right like that. So now we have kind of the inside of our card. Again, I can clean this up later and get off my other little pieces. I know I'm shaking the camera when I do this too, sorry about that. So I can finish cleaning that up later. Okay, so on the inside I have one of those little scalloped rectangles, and I'm just gonna use a little bit of my seal to adhere this down right in the middle, right like that. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing with the bigger one right here. Before we do that, we want to do our stamping and decorating that before we put it down though. So I'm going to put this aside for now, and we're going to go ahead and get our stamping done. So for this one, I'm going to use my Stamparatus to make sure I get a nice clean. You can see the Sweet stamp is very thick, right? There's a lot, and since I'm doing it in black, it might take me a couple times to get it right. So I'm going to put my rectangle here. And I'm just gonna use my magnets to hold it in the place that I want. And I'm missing my mat. Let me put my mat down first. Otherwise it's not gonna stamp right. Okay. Now I'm gonna align, where do I want the Sweet to be? I think right here. So I just wanna make sure that's lined up right. And then I'm gonna pick it up. Okay, make sure that's still in the right spot. Okay, now I'm going to take my Memento, and you could also use the StazOn for this. I think it comes out a little bit darker, a little bit blacker. Okay, and I am going to ink this up. And then come on over and press it down really good. And I want to carefully lift this up because I want to make sure my paper doesn't move in case I need to stamp it again. And that, actually I'm not going to stamp it again because it came out pretty good. And I'm a little bit off the paper, so I didn't mean to do that. I didn't really place it right. But we're going to go with it anyway. And I think what I'm going to do is just take my black marker and just fill in where those dots were right here. And this matches my stamp, so it's the same black. And just fill that in. So you can't even really tell that much that it's kind of off a little bit. So I think that looks pretty good. All right, time to do another set of stamping with the cherries. So I've got my little scrap. I'm gonna get my cherry. All right. And this time I'm not going to use my template. I'm just going to do my cherry first, and then I'll do my leaves. So if you don't use the cherry, this is the way it's going to come out. I probably should have used a bigger scrap. As a matter of fact, I am going to get a bigger scrap. Let's do that again. Now I'm going to end up with this. It's going to end up punching out the leaves and the stems just out of white. So you are wasting a little bit of paper that way. All right, let's do the stem. We're doing a lot of the same stamping tonight, right? I'll do this one kind of up here. And we'll line that up. Okay, got stem. Now we need a couple of leaves. It's one, and we'll do one more. Pretty easy, right? It's nice sometimes just to have a punch. If you don't have a die cutting machine, easy to just use the punch, right? Okay, now we have all our little pieces. Let me get the scraps out of the way. And let's pop this up. You know, before we do that, I'm going to take this ribbon and tie it around. And this is our black and white gingham ribbon. And I'm just going to tie this right around the top of our piece of cardstock and tie a bow. Try not to put my hand in the green ink in the meantime. Okay. And we'll cut off, just trim it off a little bit. Great. Now we're going to pop up our cherry. Let me close my ink pads for now so I don't make a huge mess. Okay, dimensionals to pop up. And we'll just put this cherry right about here. Anybody have any fun summer vacation plans? Going anywhere good? I'm just going to roll up a little bit of a glue dot to put the stem on. Even not going on vacation, just doing something fun like going to the beach, going to the pool, lots of fun, right? In the summer, so many things to do. All right, again, not following the leaves, the cherry leaves rule, putting the leaves wherever I want to, but that's okay. All right, the last thing is I'm going to put the thank you for being so right above the sweet, and we will stamp that in the sweet sorbet. Now, I could have used the Stamparatus to line that up too, but I can also just do it like this. And I'm just going to put it right like that. And then we're going to attach this to our panel of the card, and we'll just do that with some seals. I'm going to go right about here. And I kind of want it to be on the center of the whole front of the card, so I think this is a really good place to put it. So you can see how it's going to open up now. And we are ready to put some rhinestones on and finish it off. So let me get my take your pick tool. And put one here. You can kind of just put them randomly wherever you would like. Hold on. put another little one down at the side. And I think I had put some on the inside too. I put 3 little ones in the corner on the inside. So we'll do that. We'll do a medium and a couple of little ones. And that's it. Our second card is all finished. That one took a minute, right? That one was a little bit more complicated. It had more steps, but I think it's worth it because I think it's a really, really cute card. I hope y'all like it. And it looks like I just have a couple tiny little spots to clean up later. This one I was a little bit neater, so. All right, second card done. Okay, so now let's move on to the next card, and we're going to do just a sweet little thank you card with the cherries. This time we're not going to stamp the cherries, we're just going to cut the cherries out. So that's a little bit different way to use the punch too. So let me get the pieces out for that. We're going to add a couple of die sets to use again. Now this one we're going to kind of do the background of our green. This is the Stitch Greenery die, and I'll show you how that works. And then I use the layering circle dies, which you guys know I use a lot, and I use that to cut out vellum circles. Okay, so here are our pieces from this card. All right. So we're starting with the basic white, and this is the thick basic white cardstock. 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. This is going to open this way for this one. The next step is I have a piece of Granny Apple Green cardstock. This is 5 1/4 by 4, and we're going to go ahead and run this through our machine with this die, and it's going to make just lovely stitching inside of it. So we're just going to center it right with the die, and then let me pull my machine up here. Let me move some of my pieces out of the way. All right, my big machine. Okay, so all we're gonna do is just send this through the machine. Just crank it right through, nice and easy. And it's gonna etch my, I'm sorry, I'm moving around a little bit because I'm on the camera stand. It's gonna etch my plate a little bit, but that's okay. All right, you can see how pretty that came out. Let me peel it off of the die. Whoa, it is stuck on there good. I don't want to really rip my corners up, so give me a second to peel this off. Beautiful. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that pretty with the stitching? I just love this die. Okay, so we're just going to take this and just adhere it with some seal right down to the front of our card. I think that looks really pretty. If you don't have this die, you can just use the Granny Apple Green or any type of green that you have for your background. If you have some designer series paper, you could use that. I just like the look of that. Okay, next we're going to take a piece of the designer series paper, and this is that same print we used for the first card, but we're going to use the other side that has the polka dots on it, and we'll just also put that down with some seal, and that's going to go right across here. And that's 5 1/4 by 2 inches for that. Okay, the next thing we can go ahead and do is put down our 3 vellum circles, and I'm just going to use a little bit of seal on the back of these where I know the cherries are going to be and cover. Because you can see through the vellum where we've put the seal, but we're going to cover that up so you won't be able to see it. So we have our 3 vellum circles on our card. Now it's time to get our cherries going. Look at, I'm making a mess. I'm going to have to get out my glue gun again because I got glue all over the place. All right, so what we're going to do for our cherries this time, we're just going to come out a piece of sweet sorbet. So let me get my punch, and we're just going to cut out 3 of the cherries. One more. Okay, so we have our 3 cherries cut out. All right, then I have some of the DSP, and this is the new one, the Parakeet Party, because I used it from the same pack, and we're going to use 2 different sides of this. So I'm going to cut out 2 sets of the leaves and stems from the plaid, and then I'm going to cut out, flip it over, and do the other side with the polka dots. So that's just a different way, so you don't have to stamp anything. So I've got 1 set here. I know some of them went flying on the floor, so let me try and assemble everything. Flip that over. See, here's one of the stems, and this one will be for our polka dot. And then one of my leaves went flying. There it is. Okay, so we have all our pieces for that. Now because it looks kind of flat and plain, I thought we would get these cherries a little bit decorated up. And how come I only have 2? What happened to my 3rd one? Hold on. Must be here somewhere, unless that went flying also. Yes, it did. Also on the floor. Okay, you can see they look a little bit plain, right? And this one's a little bit fuzzy. Let me just trim this off. So what I did is I'm just going to take a sponge dauber, and I'm going to go into my sweet sorbet and just kind of decorate the edges up a little bit. So I'm just taking this little dauber, and I'm just going to kind of go around the edges and darken the edges up, and then maybe one side, almost like a little shadow side of each cherry. Just so they don't look so plain. And just this side right here. And last one, just going around the edges. And just along the bottom like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, now we're ready to start putting these on, and we're going to put these on also with dimensionals. And we'll pop all of them right up. Lift this up so you can see it better. And the cherries are going right in the middle. Just like that. Now we're ready for our stems. And I want them all to face this way. So I'm going to have one like that, and then this one will be our polka dot one, like that. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my dimensionals and cut a very skinny strip off, because I want these to be popped up like the cherries. So I'm just going to cut these up a little bit so they stick up a little bit. And then the side that's actually touching the cherry, I'll just use a little glue to put that on. So let's see if I can curve this a little bit. That looks good. As a matter of fact, I probably don't even need the glue. I can just pop it up just like that. So I'm just peeling the sides off of the little strip that I cut off the side of my dimensionals, just so my stem is popped up just like the cherry. We want them all to be about the same curvature, right? So they look equal. All right, stems on. Great. The leaves are obviously much easier to use dimensionals to pop those up. So we'll just use one for each leaf, and we'll go back to putting them where they belong at the top. Now you could use any cardstock for this. It doesn't have to be these patterns. Just use whatever makes you happy. And one more set. These cards are taking a little bit longer than last week, right? Last week those He's the Man cards were so fast, or I guess it was 2 weeks ago, because everything was kind of pre-cut for us and it was just pretty much assembly. Today we're doing a lot more with our stamping and cutting. And all right, let's put our sentiment on, and we're going to use a thank you. Now the one that comes with this set we've already used, and it says thank you for being so, but I don't want the for being so, I just want the thank you. So what I'm going to do is start by cleaning my stamp with my chamois. Just rub it off, make sure I don't have any ink on it. And then I'm going to take some of my Post-it tape and just tape off the bottom, because I just want to see the thank you part. And then I'm going to ink it up. I'm going to pull off my piece of tape, and then I'm going to center my thank you right in the middle. Okay. Then I'm going to take my banner punch and just banner the edges a little bit. You could just cut them on an angle, or you could just put the banner with scissors. That's also an easy thing to do. And we're ready to pop that up with a couple dimensionals at the bottom of our card. As a matter of fact, you can see on the first card I didn't use the banner punch. I just cut at an angle. So either way you want to do it is fine. And we'll put that right there. It changes the look of it just a little bit, right? From that to that. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit of twine. And let me see if it's still in my envelope. Give me 1 second. All right, so I'm going to make 3 bows. This is that same twine, but this is in the Sweet Sorbet. So again, kind of a little stripe. So I'm just going to tie 3 really quick bows here and trim those off. So if you would like the make and takes, I will send you all the pre-cut cardstock to make these cards. If you order, place an order of $35 or more with me on my online store, then I will send these to you for free. You have to use the host code, which this week is the UWR2HDS6. And remember, if you place an order of $75 or more, today only, you get free shipping on your order, which is super fun too. This set with the sweet cherries is pretty inexpensive. It comes with the stamp set and the punch, and I think it's only like $33 and something cents. So it's pretty inexpensive. All right, glue dots for our bows, and we'll put each bow right at the top. And do check out, if you go onto my online store, do check out all the things that are retiring from the other mini catalog, because the sale prices are really, really good. You can really find some bargains. I'm going to go on tonight after this and look for, you know, some of the papers are on sale, some of the ribbons, the rhinestones. So I want to get a couple other things before they're gone, just to kind of stock up on. I'm going to add just a couple of rhinestone embellishments to this. And these iridescent ones they're gonna kind of pick up this sweet sorbet color. So I'll put one right here and one over in the other corner. And you can see how it kind of just reflects that color. It kind of picks up whatever color you have in the background. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is use a little bit of Wink Stella, again, to add something to these cherries. And this is just gonna make, give them some sparkle, a little bit of glitter. So I'm just going to glitter these cherries up a little bit, and when that dries, you're not going to see those lines. It's just going to be the sparkle on the cherries. Okay, that is it. This card is finished. Really cute, right? You can see on this one that's dry, all the glittery sparkle on the cherries. That's really fun, right? Okay, card number 3. We have one more thing to make. And again, let me just clean up real quick because I've made a mess. Okay, this next one is an easy project, and it's easy because they have these cute little treat bags that you can get, and I think you get, I don't know how many you get in there, but you get maybe 12, you get maybe 6 of the craft color and 6 of the white for like $6. It's really great. And these are almost like little Ziploc bags. They kind of have the thing at the top that opens just like a Ziploc, and it's got the fun little window, so you're going to be able to put in any kind of treat that you want to put in there. So we're just going to decorate this nice and easy and fun. We're going to go back to stamping some cherries and some other things. So these are our pieces that are going to go here and here. And I did a basket weave on those, and I did those with crumb cake and this little fun stamp from the stamp set. So we're just going to stamp our pattern. Let me bring my scrap back. And we're just going to do our basket weave pattern. And this fits almost perfectly with the measurements. See how nice that is? And put that one more. All right, there's our top piece right there. And then we're going to do the same thing with the bottom. This one I'm going to turn it just to make it faster. And start that way at the bottom. And that's going to be our bottom. Super easy, right? Stamp that. We are just going to put that down with some seal. I'm going to use a little bit extra seal because this bag kind of curves a little bit once you put things in it, so I want to make sure it's really stuck down good. So I'm going to center that right like that, and we'll put the bottom piece on. Okay, there's our background. Time to stamp some more cherries. So again, we're just going to stamp these and punch them out like we did before. Let's see if that's going to work right next to each other. It should. There's one. And the other one. So we have our 2 cherries. The stems this time, we're just going to punch out of plain Granny Apple Green. And we'll do the stem and 2 leaves. And then we're going to need one more stem. Okay, I think we're done punching things. And there's our little pieces right there. While we have this open, let's do our thank you. And that is just on a little scrap. Do I have my little scrap somewhere for my thank you? I don't see it. It might still be in the envelope. Sometimes that happens. Or I always have tons of scraps right next to me, so we'll just take one of these scraps. We're going to do the same thing we did before with the thank you. So I'm going to get another piece of Post-it tape. And tape that off again. Ink it up. remove the Post-it tape and put that right there. That one didn't come out so good. Let's do it again. Whoops, did you see what I almost did? That would have been a disaster. Okay. I'm just gonna, this time, instead of the banner punch, I'm just gonna make this one trimmed off like that. Okay, so we can start by putting that with the dimensionals. Look at, I got ink on my dimensionals. Hold on. I'm making a mess. Very inky. Put this at the bottom of our bag. All right, before we put our cherries, I've got some, this is the linen thread. You can always also use the baker's twine in the crumb cake color. And I'm just wrapping it around 3 times. I think this linen thread is a little bit thinner than what I used. I think I used the baker's twine for the other one that I did. So you'll be able to see the difference. I'll show you the difference. So I just ran that around the bag 3 times, and now I'm just going to tie a bow right up here. And let me just tighten that up a bit. Trim that off. And I'm just going to separate this a little bit so you can kind of see it a little bit better. Okay. That looks pretty good, and we're ready to put our cherries on. The first one I'm going to put on with seal. And we'll put that one there. The second one I'm going to use a dimensional. And we'll put that one like that. I'm going to do my little trick again with cutting off a little bit of, for the stems, a little bit of my dimensionals. So I've got a little bit of a foam strip here, very thin. And we'll put this stem right like that. And then we have the other one. And then we'll use dimensional for the 2 leaves to put on. Let me see where my 2 leaves are. We'll make these stems kind of meet at the top. All right, I see 1 leaf. Where's my other leaf? I might have tossed it. Let me just punch another one really quickly. Boy, I'm having problems losing stuff tonight, huh? My stuff's flying all over the place. That's not good. Good thing it's easy to punch new ones, right? Makes it nice and easy. Okay, the other thing you could add to this, if you wanted to, and I think we will, because why not, is just to add the little bit of veining again. And we'll just add that right onto our cardstock. Whoops, I got red there. That just adds a little extra something, right? It's subtle, it's not super dark, but okay, and lastly, we're just going to put in our cherries. Now, I got some cherries off of Amazon, and I think they're like the Haribo ones. And let me show you what I have. And these might be more of a generic version, but really cute because you can see they're the 2 little cherries with the stems, and we can just tuck some of these in our bag. Let me get my little tongs to put them in, and I'll just, oops, pop some of those in there. You can arrange them so they look, you know, so they have the cherry part at the bottom and they look nice, or you could just randomly put them in there. Either way, doesn't matter. and just put a bunch of them in there. I'm just going to put 3 for now to save on time. And that's it. A cute little treat bag for a friend. Give it out to somebody at work as a thank you. Who doesn't love little gummy cherries? They're delicious, right? So that is our last project. Let me show you what we've made for our projects this evening. Move some stuff out of the way. So first we made our birthday wishes card with the cherries. Then we made our sweet, thank you for being so sweet card. Then we made our thank you cards with these cherries right here. And lastly, we made our thank you treat bags. Also, it looks like, and you can see I said I would show you the difference. Here's the linen thread and here's the baker's twine. I think I like the baker's twine better, and it's in the crumb cake color. Also, you can add some of those iridescent rhinestones to the bag like I did over here to kind of fancy it up. Okay, let me just take 1 second to tell you about what's going on. I already talked about if you would like to place an order with me. If you would like the measurement and supply sheet, email me and I'll be happy to send this to you. It has all the measurements and all the supplies that we used. Again, remember, free shipping is today only for an order of $75 or more, and that's a really great deal. Last chance to shop until the 30th of June, the mini catalog that's retiring. Right now, all the kits collection are buy one, get the second one 50% off. The second kit, you want to, if you're going to place an order for 2 kits, you want to put the most expensive one on the second line because they will take 50% off whatever's on the second line, which can be the more expensive one. Paper Pumpkin for this month is Sending Good Thoughts. It's got a nice nautical theme if you're interested in signing up for Paper Pumpkin. I was hoping I would get my Paper Pumpkin from last month today. I think it's a little off because of the holiday, so I'm probably going to get it tomorrow, so I'll be able to show you that kit next week. This is going to make 9 cards. It's nautical themed. It looks like little message in a bottle type stuff. I think this is going to be a really cute kit. I'll put links for all these things onto my Facebook and YouTube videos, so you can see the links for everything. All right, I don't know what I'm going to show you next week yet. I'm a little bit behind. Usually I have 2 to 3 weeks already made out, and I know what I'm going to do. Because I was playing around on vacation, I don't really have anything planned, so I will come up with something for next week, and I'll see you all then, and thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.